This video covers making basic web pages in Seamonkey. Seamonkey is a free downloadable web application suite from Mozilla, the maker of the Firefox browser. Seamonkey contains a web browser similar to Internet Explorer or Firefox, and it also contains a basic web page creator and editor that you can use to make web pages for your online course material. As we go through this tutorial, please keep in mind that you may feel limited in how creative you can be in creating your web pages because of the rather clunky way that the Internet interprets the coding behind the scenes of your web pages. This is true no matter what application you use to create the web pages. If you are a seasoned web page creator, do your own thing and enjoy. If you're watching this and have limited or no experience, let's get started. First, download Seamonkey and install it on your computer. It can be found at seamonkey-project.org. If you have any problems downloading or installing it, give me a call at 1818 or call Lainey Draper, our instructional designer, at 1735. After installing Seamonkey, download the application. We're going to open the application of Seamonkey, and then I'm going to have an important note for you. By default, Seamonkey opens to the browser part of the overall application suite. In order to bring up the web page creator, look in the bottom left-hand corner of the window. The little icon for the web page creator is the third icon from the left. So if you look at the bottom left-hand corner, you see a blue circle followed by an envelope, and then the smaller blue circle with the pen is the third icon from the left. Click on that icon, and in a few seconds, your web page editor opens. So now you see a blank page in Seamonkey, kind of like a blank Word document, and there's a handful of options at the top. It looks like a very basic word processing application. For this video, I'll show you how to add some text and a graphic. Remember, unless you want to get into fancy coding, instructional web pages tend to be fairly basic. This also makes them more accessible to screen readers. So let's create a web page. First, I'll title my page using the subjunctive verbal mode in Spanish. I really want it to look better, so I'm going to fix my spelling mistake. Then I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to center it. If you look at the top where it says body text and follow that across, there's a center align button, so I've centered it. I want to enlarge the font size. If you see the two A's just to the left there on the top, there's a greater or enlarge sign, so I'm going to do that 2 or 3 times, and I like the way that looks. And I'm also going to make it bold since it's a subject or the title. This process is probably very similar to what you're used to in your own word processor. So I'll unhighlight that. Now I'm ready to add in a graphic. It's going to be one that I already have on my computer. It's a good idea to already have your graphics saved on your computer before creating your web page. So I'll go to the next line. And for my graphic, students tend to have a lot of questions about how to use the subjunctive mode, and the verb mode itself deals with uncertainty in conversation. So for my graphic, I've chosen to use a question mark. How do I get it in here? Well, in the row of icons at the top, click on Image, a little image button there. And I'm going to, where it says Image Location, I'm going to choose File in order to navigate where I've stored my image on my computer. So there's my question mark. I'll click on it once. I'm going to click Open. And now there's one more thing. Before I click OK yet, I need to make the graphic accessible to screen readers by adding alternate text to describe the graphic. So alternate text. My graphic is simply enhancement. So I'll add in the words extra graphic of a question mark. This way, if I've told anyone using a screen reader in my class that any graphic that has the word extra is for an enhancement only, they'll know that there is no content that they need to glean from that graphic. After adding my alternate text, I'm going to click OK, and there's my graphic. As a side note, I can align the graphic. If I click on it, there it's highlighted. I can align it using the left align or center align. I think I'll leave it centered. I like the way that looks there. It's important, though, to know that neither Dreamweaver nor Seamonkey has the ability to move graphics around anywhere like you can in Word. That's just another example of the relative clunkiness of the internet. Now that I've added my graphic, I will hit enter and go to the next line. I'm going to start my text now, so I want it left aligned. I'll click on the left align button. Now my cursor is over on the left. And I'll add a little text. In the last chapter, you learned the basics of the subjunctive code. And then I'll continue on. I see that I forgot to unbold my text, so I'm going to unbold this part again. I highlight it, click the bold button, and now I have just regular text. When I finished with the text on the page, I'll skip a few lines and I'll add my copyright, my name, and the year. I want that centered, so I'll go back up to my alignment buttons, and now it's centered. There's one more thing I need to do to my web page. The preferred font for ease of readability on the web is a sans serif font like Helvetica, Geneva, Calibri, or Arial. So I need to change my Times New Roman to make it more readable on the web. In the menu at the top, click on Edit and select All. That'll take care of all my text. It also highlights my graphic, but that'll be ignored since I'm just dealing with text. Then I'm going to click on Format, Font, because that's what I want to format. And I think I'll just choose this option of Helvetica and Arial. And there it is. One more thing I may want to do here. I see my graphic is pretty high and I want a little more space between the title and the graphic. So I'm going to go back up to the title. I'll hit enter once and that gives me a little more space there. In the first line of my text, I see that's a little bit high. It's a little bit close to the graphic. So I'll click just after the graphic and then I'll hit enter again a couple of times. So now I'm happy with my web page. I'm going to save it. There's my button for save. And when you save it, it's going to ask you what you want the page title to be. The page title is going to be the text that shows up in the blue bar in a browser. So I'll call this Subjunctive Review and click OK. Now that's just for the page title. Now I need to really save it as a web page on my computer. It took that same thing I just typed in, assuming I want it for my file name. That's fine. And I will click Save. And I've now saved my web page with a graphic. I'll leave you with a very important note. When you upload your page into your online course, be certain that you also upload any graphics you have on that page. Otherwise, the web won't know where to look for the graphic that goes with that page. There's another video in this series that covers how to make graphics display on their web pages.